Hey, it's Rob here. All this year I've been watching movies and recording 2-minute movie reviews for them, uploading them to shorts and reels and wherever. But I noticed a lot of folk out there don't like short form content, so you know what? Here you go, 5 of those reviews collated together for your convenience. This video contains reviews 26 through 30. I actually changed my process here. My phone wasn't handling LumaFusion all that well anymore, so from Springsteen onwards I've been editing on my PC with DaVinci Resolve. The reviews ahead are for The Smashing Machine, Caught Stealing, Good Fortune, Springsteen Deliver Me From Nowhere, and Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy. A bit of everything for everyone. 2 biopics, a comedy, a thriller, and a rom-com. Okay, let's jump on in, starting with The Smashing Machine. Flagrant false advertising. There's very little machinery at all in this movie. The Smashing Machine is the new film by Benny Safdie, his first since the incredible Uncut Gems, and his first working without his brother Josh co-directing, but they're probably not the reason you've heard of this film. The Smashing Machine stars Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, but this isn't your average meat-headed action comedy or toothless family film starring The Rock. The Smashing Machine is a drama, through and through. What you get is Dwayne Johnson's first attempt at a drama, and yeah, Dwayne Johnson has never been an actor's actor. I'm sure a few critics rolled their eyes. Oh, his first dramatic role is playing a wrestler, hardly a stretch for him. But after seeing it, I really wish that Dwayne Johnson tried drama a lot earlier. He's great in this, legitimately really good. He brings a real authenticity to the role of MMA pioneer Mark Kerr, a very complicated character, portraying his stubbornness, the effects of his drug abuse, and his tumultuous relationship with his girlfriend, played by Emily Blunt. She's fantastic in the role of Dawn, playing the frustratingly wild character with so much aplomb and depth. And Ryan Bader, I can't believe this is his first ever acting gig. He played Mark Colmer with so much depth and subtlety, such a brilliant acting debut from an MMA champ. But The Smashing Machine has more than just solid performances. It's about MMA, so it delivers on shockingly brutal violence, highlighting the savagery of the sport. The soundtrack is excellent, some really great jazzy and experimental tracks, and some great use of diegetic music too. And some really solid filmmaking, a lot of handheld shots, placing you right in the middle of the scenes. Though, I think they shaky cam just a little too close to the sun. Some parts look very unflattering, and others are just incoherent and confusing to watch. But the biggest thing holding me back is the timeline. Multiple times the film either glosses over or completely sidesteps major events, like there's a scene involving a heated argument about a message left in an answering machine, but we don't get to hear the message. It feels like such a pivotal moment, but it's not in the film. Same with Mark's overdose early in the film. We only get the aftermath, and then shortly after, glossing over his rehab. It's frustrating how much is left out. But even then, I still enjoyed my time, and the novelty of seeing that Dwayne Johnson can actually act was well worth it for me. Feeling a 7 out of 10 for this one. Heck, we might now be in the timeline where we can say, Oscar-nominated actor Dwayne Johnson. What a world. Out of all the movies I saw this year, I really didn't expect it to be this one to have Smash Mouth on the soundtrack. Caught Stealing is the new Darren Aronofsky film. We last heard from him with 2022's The Whale, a film I liked at the time, but one that I have since soured on a little. Thankfully, I enjoyed Caught Stealing a lot more. Caught Stealing is a black comedy thriller, Aronofsky's first attempt at a comedy, with the plot best described as Austin Butler's life is ruined when Matt Smith asks him to pet sit. The acting is the star of the show, and that's no surprise. Aronofsky excels at drawing out great performances. Look at Brendan Fraser in The Whale and Natalie Portman in Black Swan, and he works his magic with Austin Butler, who is phenomenal here. He plays the role with such desperation and fear and this deep sense of masked guilt, and his chemistry with Zoe Kravitz was just insane. That was so good together. Regina King is fantastic as the detective, Matt Smith is super fun, and Bad Bunny, again, he keeps popping up and surprising me with just how well he can act. And the story is just such a rush. There are some excellent chase scenes throughout and some really tense moments of chaos that'll keep you guessing, is everyone going to survive this scene? Who knows? And it's put together so damn well. The editing keeps the pace frenetic and exciting, and the way the past is progressively weaved into the story, it worked brilliantly. The camera movements are slick and the shots are stylized very nicely. And damn, the soundtrack to this thing is just nuts. The punk, post-punk soundscape gives the film a really grimy, thrilling feel, and Idols did a fantastic job performing it all. Sadly, it falls down a little in the third act. No spoilers, but they spent a lot of time showing and talking about how scared Austin Butler is, but then he gets this weird superhero turnaround in the third act, and it just didn't work for me. It's one thing if everyone is just underestimating him, but the film never really shows that he's being underestimated. His turn to being a badass kind of comes out of nowhere. And while I think the cast rules, some of the supporting characters are written so cartoonishly. Matt Smith's Cockney punk, the crazy Russian guy, the evil Hasidic guys, they're not characters, they're caricatures. The acting is good, but it's like they aren't in the right mood. They should be in a Shane Black mood. But I still had a really good time with Caught Stealing. I'm feeling an 8 out of 10, maybe a 7 out of 10. It's one of the year's best thrillers, anchored by some phenomenal performances. Good Fortune, more like okay Fortune. Yeah, I don't know. Good Fortune is a new film written and directed by Aziz Ansari in his directorial debut, and his first starring role in a film since 2011. The film is a supernatural comedy, kind of a cross between Trading Places and It's a Wonderful Life. And yeah, I kind of spoiled it with the opening joke. It's not great, but it's not bad either. It's about an angel, played by Keanu Reeves, who swaps the lives of a broke gig worker and a rich Nepo baby, played by Aziz Ansari and Seth Rogen. I'm not a big Keanu Reeves guy, but he's pretty great as the angel. His odd line delivery suits the character really well, a helpful yet out-of-touch angel. The character is easily the highlight of the film, and it was super endearing watching this angel discover the ups and downs of being a human. Seth Rogen was solid too, Keke Palmer was really good. Aziz Ansari, he shines more as the director. He's okay in his role, but he's usually outshined by everyone else. But as the director, he did great. He and his team clearly put a lot of effort into the look of the film, some interesting camera shots and lighting. It's a lot more than you usually get from a comedy. And the soundtrack, come on man, it's not fair. I'm a Queenslander. I could never hate a movie with Streets of Your Town on the soundtrack, and they used the song perfectly. But unfortunately, none of that is enough to save us from the film's biggest flaw. It's just not very funny. I'm glad that we've got a mid-budget comedy back in the theaters. I'll always celebrate that, but for a film starring Aziz Ansari and Seth Rogen, I really didn't laugh much at all. It's not sure if it wants to be The Good Place or Trading Places. It just felt aimless. It's not funny enough to be a good comedy, not light enough to be a feel-good, and not biting enough to be a satire, which it desperately wants to be. It's a movie where a rich guy and a poor guy swap. That's fertile grounds for satire, but it never really says more than, look, the Nepo baby can't handle working for Uber Eats, and then condescendingly declaring that, we need to pay gig workers more. Oof, that's a terrible impression. The closest that the movie comes to an actual point is that the state of the world is so bad right now that it would make a literal biblical angel so depressed that he starts smoking. I'm feeling a 5 out of 10 on this one, maybe a 6. I'm glad a mid-budget comedy is hitting the cinemas again, and Good Fortune, it has its moments, but it's so toothless and just not as funny as it should have been. You know, with these biopics, sometimes you walk out of the theatre thinking, did that really need to get made? Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere is the new biopic from Scott Cooper about Bruce Springsteen, specifically chronicling the tumultuous period in his life recording his legendary album, Nebraska. The acting is the star of the show. Jeremy Allen White does a phenomenal job playing the boss. He brings such authenticity and vulnerability to the role, essential for the film's darker, emotional moments. He had great chemistry with his co-stars too, especially Jeremy Strong, who plays Bruce's manager, and Odessa Young, who plays his love interest, Faye. And it's really strong on a technical level too. Some great camera work at play, some really aesthetically pleasing shots. The lighting is so emotive, and obviously the music too, it kicks ass. I wish I could say the same of the pacing. It's heartbreaking. For the first half of the film, the pacing is really good. It's consistent, it's never confusing, everything builds and builds nicely, but after the first half, it just gets worse and worse. The ending is just a hot mess. Seriously, we get a really effective emotional climax, a very moving moment in the film. Springsteen goes to therapy, but then it literally fades to black 10 months later, then there's one more scene and then the film ends. Like, what? You're not gonna show the therapy? 10 months of growth just ignored? Not even a montage? All the trauma the film shows, all the work it would take coming back from something like that, and it's just 10 months later. It felt so rushed. And the romance felt so inconsequential. The love interest, Faye, isn't a real person. She's representative of his failed relationships over time, so it's so weird that they spend so much time developing her character. It almost feels like fan fiction. And why don't we get anything about the E Street Band? Does Stevie Van Zandt even have a line in this? I know the E Street Band didn't play in Nebraska, but they're still a huge part of Springsteen's success. It's weird that they're ignored here. But most of all, I didn't leave the film thinking anything about Bruce Springsteen. I didn't leave the film with a clear vision on who the boss is as a person. All I got was, oh, I didn't know he suffered from depression. A biopic should deliver more than what I can get from Wikipedia. I'm feeling a 5 out of 10 on this one. Some great acting on display here, but unfortunately, for a biopic about the boss, it doesn't hit nearly as hard as it should. Maybe this is an insane thing to say, but why does Bridget Jones have the same walk as Sean Penn in one battle after another? Bridget Jones, Mad About the Boy is the new film in the Bridget Jones franchise. Renee Zellweger is back as Bridget Jones, her most iconic role. Hugh Grant also returns, as does Colin Firth, kind of. And then the newcomers, Leah Woodle and Chiwetel Ejiofor. And look, I'll be honest right now, I don't really know why I watched this. I'm not a 50-something-year-old woman, I haven't seen any of the other Bridget Jones films, I'm not even really a rom-com lover at all. I am so far away from the target demographic. I can't even use the excuse of, oh, I watched it in a day. I watched this alone, in my room, on my computer, like an absolute psycho. But, you know, try new things and all that. There are parts that I liked. I thought all the acting was great. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Leo Woodall, and even the kid actors, and of course Renee Zellweger, she's so comfortable in the role. I also really like the film's exploration of grief. When the film is about a mum trying her best to provide for her family while navigating not just her own grief, but her kids' grief too, it's really sweet and meaningful. Everyone in Bridget's life gives her conflicting advice, and it all just becomes noise. And then there's the sense that they're all just being polite now. No one really wants to help after 4 years of this, and not enough sad movies take that approach, showing that kind of exhaustion this far down the track. Sadly, I found the comedy lacking. There are some genuine laughs, but the cringe comedy mostly fell flat for me, and anytime the film tried to comment on modern life or technology, it basically just took the tone of an out-of-touch Facebook comic made for people who hate teenagers. And maybe I'm just not into the rom-com tropes, but I thought the romance was weak too. She has no chemistry with Leo Woodall, and maybe that's the point, but it only serves to highlight the fact that there's no romantic stakes here. The instant Chiwetel appears, it's so obvious that he's the one that she's going to pick. The Leo stuff ends up feeling like a B-plot. This isn't helped by the pacing either. You'd think that Bridget would and ah about the choice, but no. Leo fumbles the bag, and then we have like 40 goddamn minutes left of the film waiting for her to get together with Chiwetel. I'm feeling a 5 out of 10 on this one. I don't know if I can call it bad or mediocre, but it didn't work for me. But if you love your rom-coms, you'll probably get a lot more out of this than I did. Hey, once again, thanks so much for watching. If you made it this far, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot. Tell me in the comments, which of these movies was your favorite? Was I too harsh on Good Fortune? It feels like a sin to be too critical of Keanu Reeves on the internet. Had a lot of 5 out of 10 movies in this collection of reviews, but the next one will feature some of the year's very best, including the new Knives Out film and a review that will not help me beat the furry allegations. Until next time, peace!